Hey teachers, in this video you are going to learn about two MagicSchool NISD Enterprise Tools, the SCR Writing Feedback Tool and the ECR Writing Feedback Tool. You and your team can use these tools for scoring calibration, not removing the human touch, but instead using the AI as a thought partner working alongside you. These tools will also assist you in delivering timely, specific, actionable feedback to your students that are aligned to the rubrics. The tools also support teacher clarity by highlighting strengths, gaps, and next steps. This is also a formative assessment tool that will give you immediate data about your students' performance, so you can use that to drive your instruction the next day. Now I'm going to jump right on into MagicSchool to show you where the tools are and how they work. You can launch MagicSchool from your portal. Simply search MagicSchool and click on the icon. MagicSchool will automatically log me in to my Enterprise MagicSchool account. You should see Enterprise right up here. This is the paid version of MagicSchool and allows additional protections. For example, we're going to be entering student writing here, and so this is something that we are able to do with our MagicSchool Enterprise version. We would not want to do this outside of MagicSchool, like in ChatGPT, for example. So again, our MagicSchool Enterprise has added protections for our students and for us as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is navigate to the enterprise tools that we have created for you. So on this main page, you're going to scroll down and you're going to see a ton of tools here that MagicSchool created. But we are going to go filter by, and we're going to click on the Enterprise tab. When you click on Enterprise, you'll see that you will have several tools, again, built by Northside educators, for use within Northside. What makes these tools special is that they have specific documents on the back end that make them for a specific purpose. For example, we're going to launch the NISD Elementary SCR Writing Feedback Tool in this example. Please note that there is also a ECR Writing Feedback Tool, and these two tools work the same. They just are scoring for the two different types of writing. So if it's an ECR question, you'll want to launch this chatbot. If it's an SCR question, you'll want to launch this chatbot. It's important that you differentiate between the two because they do have the different rubrics attached to the back end. So I'm going to go ahead and model this with the SCR by clicking on the MagicSchool button and launching the chatbot by clicking Generate. This chatbot is specialized, as I said before, with the rubrics for the STAR tests for the SCR questions. This also has the STAR scoring guides on the back end as well to help it be more specific and correct. So here you'll see that in order to use the NISD SCR Coaching Assistant, we need three items. We need the story, the question, and the students' responses. And so for the purposes of this video, I am going to go ahead and use a unit assessment to model this because everybody uses the unit assessments on CMS, but please note that you can use this tool whether you're doing the question in CMS, Schoology, or other platforms. As long as you can download the student responses, you can use this tool. We do have a click sheet for all of these steps as well as this video, and we will be sure to add this click sheet to the description of the YouTube video in case you would like the step-by-step click sheet for how to do this. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and launch a unit assessment, and so I can download the test, because remember, the first thing we need is the story and the question that the students read. So I'm going to model this with a 4th grade example, but you can definitely use your grade level. And I'm going to come here to RLA, and I'm going to choose one of the assessments. I'm going to do Developing the Heart of the Story Unit Assessment. All I'm doing is copying this test code, and then I'm going to come to CMS from my portal. So I'm going to go to CMS, And I'm going to come down here to assessments and go ahead and enter that test code. Again, my main point right now is to get the passage that the students read. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that assessment. And what I'm going to do here is download the entire test booklet for this one test that kids took. And to do that, I'm going to scroll down just a tad, click downloads, and then choose student test booklet and student test booklet PDF. And what that's going to do is go ahead and save a PDF. You can see it spinning up here. It's taking just a moment. It's going to save a copy of this test booklet, the entire test, to my computer. Next, I'm going to scroll back up to score. This is where teachers will enter those manual scores like the SCRs and ECRs. On your end, you might just have your sections pop up here when you click locate a section. On mine, I do have to do a little searching, so bear with me for just a moment while I find a section. Okay, so I'm going to launch a section. And so you can launch your section here, and you'll see this is where the students, all of the test items are going to be located, but we're really honing in here on by manually scoreable questions because these tools again are focused on the SCR or the ECR questions. So question 3, I'm going to go ahead and expand this here just so that you can see it. Question 3 on this test was a short constructed response prompt. So all of my students' writing are going to be located down here. I'm going to go ahead and click Export Student Responses PDF here. And what that's going to do is it's going to create a PDF of all of my students in the one section, all of their responses to question number 3. I'm not doing question 7 yet because this is an extended constructed response and I would need to do that in the other tool. If I want to download question 7 responses, I would click question 7 and click Export Student Responses. We are not clicking this one because it will group the questions together. So we want to do them separately and use the tools separately as well. So I'm going to pop now. I have all the information I need. So I'm going to go back to MagicSchool. And what I'm going to do is upload the documents that I just downloaded. So I'm going to click this upload button and I'm going to click upload file. And there are 2 files I'm going to upload. I'm going to upload the test booklet that had all the questions on the test. And then I'm going to hold Control and click also on the student responses and click open. You can also add those separately. Now, one other thing, we only want MagicSchool to look at question 3. So I'm just going to type in here question 3. That was the question, you might remember, that was the short constructed response. So I have my test booklet, which has the story and the question, and also the student responses, all of my kids' responses to that question. So the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and launch this by clicking the purple Send Message button. Okay, you're going to notice that the AI is reading the story, reading the question, and then providing feedback for each one of my students as it goes. For the purposes of this video, I went ahead and removed the student names, but yours will show the student name, the student's actual response. You'll see this one did not have a response provided, and then it will provide you with multiple areas that you can use for feedback. So I'm going to move to student 2 since the student did have a response here, and you'll see that it's going to give a score with a rationale, and it's going to show some glows, what's working. And then it's also going to provide a gap if applicable, and then a biggest move to improve, as well as a feedback script. You'll notice as I go through the different scores for the students, here's some ones, and then the feedback script is going to be really great for our scores that are 0s and 1s. It will give for our 2s some additional feedback as well. So now that it has scored my students, I'm just going to double check that it scored all of them, because every once in a while we'll notice that it kind of gets stuck here on student 15, student 16. So a little fix to this is, can you run the remaining students? So if you just prompt the AI to run the remaining students, it will go ahead and do that. All right, excellent. So now we have had a scoring calibration and the glows, grows, the feedback script as well. But I want to show you the more powerful piece of this, which is using this tool now to drive instruction the next day, the next week, how we can address any gaps that our kids have in a really timely manner. And so what I'm going to do now is, now that the AI has learned a little bit about my students from this SCR, I'm going to ask, can you group my students based on their gaps? And so now what you're going to see happening is the AI is going to create groups of students according to how what their gap was. For example, you'll see like group number 2 is they got the correct answer, but they didn't have the specific text evidence. Some might be grouped for conventions. Group 4 you can see is more of like an enrichment group, maintaining excellence. You'll see one where here's that spelling and grammar one. So what I'm going to do now is know that I have my kids ready. You see the student 1, student 2. Those again would be your students' names. And now what I'm going to do is ask, can you create 15-minute reteach lesson plans for each group? And I do want to describe here what's happening with the groups. It is not grouping them by score of 0, 1, and 2. Instead, it's grouping them by that skill that they're lacking, so that you can really be intentional about your small group time and pull them as needed. So here you're seeing a small group lesson for my students for each group, and each small group lesson is going to look different depending on what their gap was and how they did on the SCR. So this is a great way to get a lot of ideas for different small group lessons that you can do or activities you can do, and then you can pick and choose whichever ones that you like the best. Another idea for prompting here is to ask for a new passage. So I'm going to say, can you create a new passage for me to use with my small groups? And so what it's going to do now is it's going to think about the passage it read, and it's going to mirror the rigor, the sentence structure and syntax and vocabulary according to the level of the passage that the students saw on the original test. So this is really helpful in that it's going to create a really great passage for whatever grade level you are teaching. And so you'll see here that it's going to provide a passage. It's going to give me some SCR practice questions, and these are going to be different depending on the small group and what their gap was. A couple of other options that you can use, you can ask, can you translate this passage into Spanish, or insert any language that you need the passage to be translated into. And so now it's going to go ahead and translate the passage for me, and so I have those parallel activities and can use them with my different groups of students. Okay, so in this video you learned how to use the NISD Elementary SCR Writing Feedback or ECR Writing Feedback tools, and how to then use that data to drive your instruction super quickly and be ready for some lesson ideas and activities for the next day. Before I finish here, I do want to share with you that each one of your generations are going to be housed under output history, so you can come back to it, Or if you prefer, you can click the arrow upward and click Export to Google Docs. It's going to, for selected resource, it will be the last thing that you generated. If you want all of it to go into a Google Doc, you can click Full Thread, include your user prompts, and click Export. And that is going to connect to your Google Drive and share and create a Google Doc with all of this information in one place. We hope you find these tools to be helpful in your practice.